Greetings goers of YouTube, just call me Dr. Storm. So today I wanted to talk about something that many are going to consider old drama, but because of recent events and realizations that happened, I feel it's worth going back to look at it from a different perspective. But in order to do that, I feel like we're going to have to go back to the very beginning of this entire thing just as a refresher. This all started when a YouTuber by the name of Flip, who makes Genshin content on Meta and other such things, made an appearance on the livestream of everybody's favorite, or favorite, content creator Tectone. Now, not much really happened throughout much of the livestream, but somewhere in the middle of it, Tectone decided to suddenly confront Flip about a video he made on him a year ago criticizing one of his meta takes. Needless to say, when it happened, Flip clearly felt uncomfortable by it. And Tectone honestly just kind of looked like a huge dick by trying to guilt-trip Flip into thinking that he was going to actually help bankrupt him during a really shitty point in his life when all he did was roast one of his meta takes and make a thumbnail where he had a clown nose.
You know, do you think me insulting, like saying your Genshin takes aren't good does that hurt you?
Do you think that when my livelihood was to make money off of YouTube, do you think when I was $1.1 million in debt, do you think that when the entire Genshin community was shitting on me, do you think me saying, oh great, another dickhead made a video on me, I can't wait to deal with the backlash, when I had no money, when I was about to lose my house, what do you think that was going to do? You can paint it any way that you want. You can say, look at how much of a silly Billy I was being. The reality is you caused a lot of damage.
As a result of this event, YouTuber Sullivan Artist, who also makes Genshin content, made a video defending Flip and calling out Tectone for this behavior on stream, citing it as bullying. Tectone has expressed liking Sol and his content in the past at the time, so he was willing to invite him on stream to have a discussion or debate with him, to which Sullivan agreed. However, by the end of the stream, Tectone did what Tectone usually does whenever he can't debunk the opposition's argument, and he shifted from the position of actually trying to have a genuine debate and discussion with Sol to pretending he doesn't care and just making an ass of himself to try and piss people off.
You want to die on the hill that you said you don't respect meta players?
Are you threatening me? I'll have you know, I'm a former miner, man. You can't talk to me like that.
When did I threaten you? Can
you
you
said,
quit?
You
No,
said you want to die?
Quit spouting bullshit. I didn't threaten you.
Bro. You said you want to die. That's what you said in that clip.
I said you want to die on that hill.
And there's the full context. Wouldn't that be cool if everybody used full context clips and not out of context ones? And there's the fun in this conversation.
So yeah, after that whole circus act, various content creators released their own videos about this entire drama to give their own thoughts out about it. One of these being the subject of today's video, YouTuber XgoSolo, who also happens to be Sullivan Artist's own twin brother. Tectone saw that Solo made his own video talking about the drama and immediately decided to invite him onto his own livestream. Now, keep in mind, Solo before this point did not play Honkai Star Rail or any other gacha game, nor did he make any content surrounding them. All of his content up until that point had been about things like Fortnite, Zelda, or any other random topic he felt like discussing, and they rarely broke triple digits in terms of views. Solo also didn't have much knowledge on Tectone before making his own video about the drama, and any knowledge he had about Tectone came directly from his own brother, who had actually watched Tectone and known what he's been like for years. So, keeping all this in mind, it really does seem like the only reason Tectone invited Solo, of all people, onto his livestream was because of the personal connection he had to Sol. There's simply no other common link between the two. The only reason he chose Solo out of everyone else who made a video about the entire drama was because he was Sol's brother. And I think something that Tectone fans, Tectone haters, and even Tectone himself can all agree on is that Tectone loves drama. He loves stirring the pot, and he loves doing whatever he can in order to do that. So, I think it's safe to say that Tectone trying to use Sol's own brother to get back at him, get a rise out of him, or get any juicy details he can about him is not something that is so far outside the realm of possibility. So, considering all of this information, knowing what just happened between Tectone and Sol, and knowing that at the time there was a multitude of people telling him that going on the stream was a bad idea, warning him that it was most likely a trap, what did XgoSolo decide to do with Tectone's invitation?
It's like
I was heavily advised
it really is beyond.
by like everybody on my brother's server to not talk to Tectone.
Please give me a break.
I don't care.
I don't know if I'm gonna have anything in the background.
I don't think? I have no reason to believe he's anything beyond just some guy who doesn't know how to shut up sometimes, but aren't we all?
There isn't really much to go over with the discussion between Tectone and Solo. Not much significant really happened aside from the fact that he told Solo to play Star Rail and sent some subscribers over his way. However, even though nothing bad directly happened as a result of this interaction specifically, the fact that Solo was willing to engage with a man who just had beef with his brother, who he knows almost nothing about, and that multiple people were telling him not to talk to, I mean, it's just such an insanely reckless, stupid decision to make that could not only have repercussions for Sol, but also Solo himself. He could have very well been put in the same vulnerable position Flip had been put in just before this. Yeah, what's that in your bio, Solo? The voice of reason? Yeah, I would consider rebranding. So after that entire stream, a couple other things happened. Tectone reacted to one of Sol's latest videos at the time, you know, throwing a little bit of shade his way with the superior brother joke that Solo had made in the call with him. Sol decided to react to Tectone's reaction of his content. And you know, while he didn't say anything incendiary in the video, he decided to take it down because he didn't really care for dealing with Tectone anymore. But just as his drama was about to die, another video came out from XgoSolo himself, titled My Final Thoughts on the Tectone Drama. And just like with him going on Tectone's stream, people were telling him that releasing this video was going to be a bad idea and that it was not going to end the drama the way he claimed it was going to. So, now that we've gone over all that lore with the whole Sol and Tectone rivalry up until that point, it's time to look into Solo's own words and actions at the time of this whole debacle, while significantly more eyes were on Sol and Tectone.
I don't like coming back to revisit drama topics because I feel like they can be adequately summarized in one video and have no need for two.
Always a good sign when the very first sentences of the video directly contradict the entire existence of the video.
However, seeing as this was something that happened to me personally, I decided to come out of the woodwork and clear up some misconceptions I've seen floating around the internet, whether they be joking or not.
Why are you talking as if you were heavily involved in this entire thing? You basically went on one stream with Tectone, didn't even talk about the drama, and that was it. If you feel like it's your burden to bear to clarify stuff that happened during this entire thing, you had the ability to say no to Tectone's invitation and stay out of the drama entirely. Which, by the way, is what everyone was telling you to do.
My whole motive for going on stream with Tectone seems to be ambiguous to anybody who doesn't know how I operate with—
Oh, so this entire video isn't about the actual drama, it's about you covering your own ass for doing something fucking stupid. Okay.
Wasn't to farm clout or anything dumb like that, because frankly, I didn't even think it would go very well for me, and his chat actually liking me was a surprise.
So wait, knowing what we went over earlier, combined with this new information you're giving us that you didn't even think it was gonna go well, why the fuck did you even go on?
And most importantly, I wanted to show my brother that Tectone's not actually as bad as he makes himself out to be, but—
Oh, so your main reason for doing this thing, despite the mountain of good reasons to not do this thing, was winning a petty argument against your brother who you would have also potentially jeopardized by doing said stupid thing.
No, I did not throw my brother under the bus.
Well, you are correct, you technically didn't throw him under the bus in that live stream. But still, the fact that you were even willing to take the risk, knowing that your brother wasn't really comfortable with you going on stream with someone who just had beef with him, and who he also believes is genuinely a bully, as I've been emphasizing before, it was a very, very stupid decision. Also, considering the main reason you just gave for wanting to stream with Tectone, it's honestly just a really selfish one.
So Tectone's using me. Alright, cool. So here's a fun little concept you guys may have heard of. It's called social anxiety. Now you may not know that because of the way I present myself, but I actually have generalized anxiety disorder and autism. That's right, you're currently listening to somebody who's medically defined as autistic and mentally handicapped.
How exactly is this helping Tectone's case against this claim? Doesn't knowing this just make it seem like it was easier for him to use you, and also just make it seem like it was more likely that you were used by him, without even knowing it? And now that I think about it, you basically reveal that you have an incentive to not say anything bad about Tectone in this video because you want to prove a point that he's a good person. So knowing this, and that you were incredibly grateful to him after this for bumping you up from 700 to 7k subs, honestly, why should I believe anything you have to say about Tectone as a person? It really just seems like you have too much on the line to risk being, well, honest about him.
And because of that, I do have some pretty negative thoughts that surface from time to time. Thoughts that the comment section is definitely not helping with.
Oh, so the purpose of bringing up your autism was not to have a nuanced discussion about whether or not Tectone used you. It was to guilt trip your audience into not proposing this idea that shows legitimate concern for your well-being, as well as to just deflect this idea when it's being used as constructive criticism. Yeah, as someone else who's on the autism spectrum, this is pretty fucking gross.
Seen the narrative get pushed around that Tectone was kind of using me on stream to try and further the drama part, but I really don't think that was what was going on there.
Again, of course you aren't going to say this because then you would have to admit that you were wrong and that your brother is right, and it would also mean potentially losing a sizable portion of the viewers that you've amassed from Tectone.
I will say this though, there was definitely a lot more I wanted to say about the drama situation, but I just couldn't because I was sworn to silence by my family.
I thought you just wanted to have a conversation with him to see how he was as a person, so why did you want to bring up the drama so badly? You didn't need to talk about the drama to do that, and you ended up having a conversation without talking about the drama. Also, dude, why the fuck even share this about your family when no one was asking about it? It sounds like they were just concerned with you oversharing or saying anything too personal in front of thousands of people on someone's platform who had just recently been quarreling with your brother, which is honestly a reasonable concern for them to have, especially if they don't heavily use the internet as much as you do.
Oh no, he doesn't actually like Star Rail, he's only playing it for clout. Oh, there is no shot some autistic guy is going to be playing a video game and making videos about that game and streaming that game for 7 hours a day if he genuinely wasn't enjoying it.
I don't know, man. People have done a lot crazier things for money beyond just playing a game they don't like for views. Just saying.
Tectone's audience has nothing to do with it. My brother's audience has nothing to do with it. I already had interest in the game. The only reason I didn't play it was because I wanted to hear somebody who wasn't my brother recommend it.
So, you did have interest in the game, yet in the 6 months between when Honkai Star Rail first came out and when you went on stream with Tectone, you didn't download the game to try it for yourself, you didn't watch any reviews or any other videos about the game to see if it would hold your interest, and you didn't ask anyone else in any other corner of the internet, whether it be in your own little community at the time, or even your own brother's community that absolutely had more people than just him playing the game when it first came out. Yet despite all of these opportunities to get an opinion on the game or even try it out for yourself up until this point, it wasn't until a bigger streamer invited you onto his channel, told you about the game, and sent his viewers your way that you decided to not only start playing Honkai Star Rail, but also start streaming it at the same time. Add on top of this the fact that you didn't really play any other gacha games before Honkai Star Rail, you've gone on record saying that you hate gacha games, such as when you failed to pull Huohuo on stream, and from what I've seen of your content on the game that you just don't seem very knowledgeable about it outside of maybe story and lore. There just seems to be a lot of evidence suggesting that you mostly started playing this game for the views more so than for any other reason.
Because for those who don't know, my brother's opinions on the game are pretty much universally negative and aren't very good to go off of.
I mean, sure, his thoughts on the game are negative, but what if his criticisms are valid? Have you considered that?
So who do I think won the whole Tectone versus Soul argument? And I'm gonna be honest right now, maybe a bit of a cop-out. There was not a winner, because there was not an argument. There was a man acting high off his ass and somebody trying to prove to him what the quadratic formula was. I see my brother walking around pushing the narrative that he won. He definitely didn't. I don't know where he gets this idea, but in his small little brain, I guess anything is a victory to him. And
I mean, it wasn't just your brother saying that he won the argument. Other YouTubers were saying that as well at the time, or at least that he came out better than Tectone did from it.
I see Tectone going around on multiple podcast streams, Twitters, whatever, and retelling events of the drama, and some of the details he gets are definitely wrong, but for the most part it gives you a general idea of what happened.
This is a thing I've been noticing throughout the entirety of this video, but it's especially apparent here. It's interesting that whenever you're talking about your brother, you seem to be assuming the worst of him and making a lot of these jabs at his expense. But then whenever you're talking about Tectone, you're giving him as much benefit of the doubt as humanly possible and being very careful with how you word things. I know Soul's your family and all, and families banter all the time, but it really just seems like you're trying to appeal to a specific person in this whole thing.
There was only one point in the entirety of this drama where I was genuinely angry, and that wasn't even related to Tectone, it was something purely between me and my brother. There is no reason to be angry about this sort of thing, because it's just cringe garbage.
So then why the fuck are you even talking about it then?
That being said, the one time I genuinely got angry was when my brother tried to stop me from going on stream with Tectone, because in his mind, he never ever wanted to help me grow my channel, and when I was presented with an opportunity that could potentially do that, it was only in that moment that he wanted to help me.
I think we went over enough on all the reasons it was a bad idea for Solo to go on the stream with Tectone. But that whole mountain aside, I thought you said that you never did this for the views, Solo. This was never about growing your channel. So you claim, at least. So why would this tick you off so much to the point where you had to complain about it in the video? You're not really helping your case by bringing it up. Also, Solo, in response to your claim that your brother never ever wanted to help you grow your channel and that he never tried to help you at any other point, hey Solo. What are these? What are these announcements right here that your brother posted in his Discord server? Who is that standing next to you in these thumbnails, Solo? Who is that? Cause, from here it looks like you're lying about your brother to make him look like a piece of shit, because this very clearly looks like he's trying to help your channel grow. Yeah, you didn't throw your brother under the bus on that stream with Tectone, but you're sure as fuck doing it here.
I am somebody who tries to help out people every way I can, and even with the newfound fame that I got from Tectone's audience, I'm gonna use the money I get to fund fixing the shed that broke, and I'm gonna use my clout to point people in the direction of smaller creators.
Oh, you mean like how your brother used his clout to point his audience in the direction of your channel, which you are very clearly leaving out for some reason?
So the idea that my brother only wanted to help me when it was beneficial to him and detrimental to me pissed me off.
Yeah, because these instances right here are definitely detrimental to you and only beneficial towards him. Absolutely. Like, holy fuck, this guy is actually such a lying piece of shit. And about his own family, no less.
If I'm being honest, I don't even really care about this drama anymore. It all started over something as stupid as Genshin Impact meta.
Then why did you make this video and just lie about your brother to make him look like a gigantic asshole?
The only reason I'm releasing this video now is because my brother made a video that was a reaction to Tectone's reaction on his video, and in that video, towards the end, Soul spoke for me about my relationship with Tectone.
Well, considering how truthful you were about him earlier, I'm very skeptical about this claim, but please go on.
It was only a couple seconds long, but in response to Tectone referencing the inferior copy joke that I made in my video, Soul said, "You know what, Tectone? Something that you should know about my brother," and then he stopped himself and was like, "You know what, actually, you're smart enough to figure it out on your own."
Oh, so you've just proven that he said absolutely nothing about your relationship with Tectone then. Cool, glad we confirmed that this was another lie.
And maybe it's petty, but I take issue with this because it doesn't matter if the video is now privated, and it doesn't matter if he stopped himself because it was pre-recorded. He could have easily edited it out.
I mean, you also could have consciously edited out all these lies that you've been telling about your brother, but you left them in the video for some godforsaken reason.
In other words, because he doesn't like the person I now have a connection with, he's trying to burn down my bridge because he already burned down his own, simply because he does not like Tectone.
Or, you know, he was just about to say something snarky about you like you've been saying about him throughout this entire video, but he just decided to stop himself. That had nothing to do with burning your bridge with Tectone. Also, he didn't even really want the bridge at that point, clearly. Why would he be jealous that you had it?
Now, is this to say that he's doing this on purpose? No, absolutely not. Of course he's not doing it on purpose, but—
Oh, then why didn't you just talk about it in private with him instead of bringing this up in a video in front of thousands of people? That just seems like a very much more professional manner to handle it in.
But still, what is the general public gonna think if they see something like that?
But you just acknowledged that the video got taken down. It's not up for people to see anymore. Also, by bringing this up, you're just bringing more attention that it happened than you would if you hadn't even brought it up, because again, the video is deleted.
So I will admit that it is a bit petty to make this entire video based on that, but the main reason I'm doing it isn't to spark new fires or capitalize on this trend, because the trend is dead and gone.
Yeah, considering the other lies you've told in this video and the fact that this is the most viewed video on your channel, I just don't fucking believe you when you say that. Alright, well that was basically the entire video, and as you can see, it was not very good. Contradicting himself constantly, not trying to hide the fact that he's trying to suck up the Tectone, and lying about his family to make himself look better, I give it a 1 out of 10. Well then, now to get back in the lore. Shortly after the video was uploaded, Soul went to confront his brother on his livestream.
And you made it out like I didn't want your fucking YouTube channel to succeed, but you left out
I
the
didn't
fact.
say that either.
Bullshit, because there's so many fucking comments saying it. and so many people DM me about it. You made it out like I don't want your channel to succeed. For 2 fucking years, I tried to help you.
By getting me to play a game I don't want to play.
No! I tried to set up collaborations with you on both my horror and main channel, and you...
What the f-
You wanted none of it. All you wanted was free exposure.
No, I didn't.
Bullshit.
I tried to do that spooky video. It did not work out because I was doing it for fucking ages.
But that's not my fault, and you didn't even bring that up in the video. You just made it out like I didn't want your fucking channel to succeed, which is not true.
I did not say that.
Bullshit. There's like 40 fucking comments saying that.
This resulted in both brothers yelling at each other, with Soul yelling noticeably louder, the door slamming, a painting falling down, and Solo crying and ending the stream. Since this is all being streamed live, Tectone took this opportunity to go to his own stream, condemn Soul, saying that he abused his brother, and essentially lead a campaign against him. You know, even though said brother that got abused, Solo, in this case, confirmed that he was fine. However, Tectone likes to Tectone and doesn't like to show anything that doesn't support his own arguments, so he basically ignored Solo saying this. Asmongold also jumped in on reacting to this video, and I guess you could say he got a couple things wrong in the process.
To your Twitch chat, telling me I'm unprofessional for talking about this on the internet? All of you, eat my fucking ass. He made the video first. You dumb fucker.
This is over an anime game. How old do you think he is? 37.
As a result of both Tectone and Asmongold reacting to Soul yelling at his brother on stream, Soul decided to make his own 1-hour defense video clearing things up. While this video is technically from one of the people who was directly involved in this drama, Soul shows a lot of receipts in this video and goes into great detail about not only the events that happened during this entire drama, but also actions that Tectone has taken in the past against other content creators that led him to make his first video defending Flip. I highly recommend watching this if you want the full story. Unfortunately, when this video first released, Tectone threatened to take it down with a copyright strike, which is obviously illegal in this case because the video very clearly falls under fair use as it is transformative. Tectone's justification for this was that Soul said in his own defense video that he would copyright claim any video Tectone makes that reacts to his content. And while I don't really agree with Soul here, Tectone still drew first blood and it doesn't really make what Tectone did any better. Abusing the copyright system to take down a defense video against slander that you are spreading is just a really fucking scummy thing to do. This is where Solo becomes relevant in the story again. Now, despite knowing that the shit Tectone was spewing was false about Soul abusing him, and that being a content creator himself, Solo should know that this is an illegitimate use of the copyright system on YouTube, Solo, for whatever reason, decided not to stand up to Tectone about all this directly. In fact, he was willing to play the messenger for Tectone in relaying the copyright strike threat to his brother, as can be seen in these DMs between Solo and Tectone. I guess Solo really just hates admitting when he's wrong, because if someone ever tried to slander one of my family members and say that they abuse me when I know for a fact they don't, and then attempt to silence the family member trying to defend themselves against said slander, yeah, that's the point where I don't want anything to do with that person anymore. I don't know about you. Then again, Solo basically did slander his brother in that video by saying he never tried to help his channel grow, so birds of a feather, I guess. Not long after all this happened, Tectone released a video titled I Am Not a Good Person, basically acknowledging his own faults and shortcomings as well as the fact that he is not a saint. It's just him being Schrodinger's douchebag like he always likes to be, saying that he's an asshole and anything he does is for the lols, even though he's gonna go back to morally grandstanding people and bitching about people saying Tectone bad for days on end. Now, Solo actually reacted to this video on his own channel. Now, keep in mind, the entire reason Solo claimed to get involved with Tectone from the very beginning was to prove that Tectone is actually a good person and that he's not as bad as he seems. Yet, here is Tectone himself openly stating that he is not a good person. So, let's see how Solo takes this information, shall we?
He only got to know Solo for like 2 weeks and gave him a platform. Yeah, no. Make no mistake, guys. I know I'm not Tectone's friend. I know I'm not. Asmongold is Tectone's friend. Like, I'm not opposed to being his friend, because I like Tectone a lot. I have nothing but respect for the guy. Maybe we are friends. Maybe I just don't know what a fucking friendship is, because I've only been in 5 of them my entire life. But I'd say, like, Tectone right now, me and him are, like, really, really, really strong allies.
Still stubborn as ever, I see. Well, at least he's not slandering his brother anymore and saying awful shit about him.
Tectone has unironically done more for me in a week than my brother has done for me in his whole fucking life. So I wouldn't say Tectone's only nice to his friends. I don't think that's true.
Well, he seems to have uploaded a thank you video to his channel at some point. Maybe he does properly mention Soul in this.
I thought it was appropriate, not only to come out and thank the community, but also the big old bald man in the room, because that motherfucker has done so much for me, and I don't even think he realizes it. In less than a month, it's all gone. All of the concerns, the hardship, the struggle, it's gone. And in its place is a community of people who actually give a shit about what I have to say for once. It's not like my immediate family who do nothing but talk over and ignore me all the time. It's not like the fucking arguments I have to hear through the fucking thin walls of my house. It's just kind people sending me kind words. I don't know what the fuck Tectone thinks he did. I don't know if he has pride in what he did, but I'll tell you one thing. There will never be a moment where I will not have that motherfucker's back as long as he's in the right, because he has done so fucking much. I understand that he's not a saint. I understand that he's definitely lied about some things and probably didn't even fucking realize it and then doubled down. I'm aware that he's an internet troll and he's probably a shithead to certain people, but I don't think he's a bad person. I never will. I don't think he's an upstanding citizen, not by a fucking mile, but he's a good person. I have nothing but respect for the man, and after all the shit he did for me, you won't catch me dead taking somebody else's corner, regardless of who the fuck they are. If Tectone did something genuinely bad, I might have to tell him to fucking shut up, but if he didn't, I never will, because this bastard in 2 weeks has done so much.
Oh, you'll stand up to Tectone if he's in the wrong? You might tell him to shut up if he says something stupid? Solo, remember this from earlier? Remember when you said nothing to him when he was clearly in the wrong, Solo? I guess this is just another lie to add to the tally for you then.
Tectone has given me the ability to not only finally have a platform, something that I was unable to achieve at 3 years, but he has also given me the ability to monetize my channel and help my parents out for once in their fucking life. Now they finally, after 50 years, have somebody in their life who actually fucking cares enough to help them. Me. And thanks to Tectone, I can now help them out.
Oh, so you'll complain about your family over and over and over again until you can prop yourself up and make yourself look like a saint by saying that you'll be able to help them. We're not gonna hear a thank you towards his family in this, are we?
There are people who are in the same boat as me. Maybe didn't have the ability to rub shoulders with somebody through a stupid brother being stupid.
I mean, I guess that's better than nothing. You know, that video was 2 months ago by now. Like, 2 months is time for people to grow and people to learn and think over things, right? You know, maybe now he's finally going to tell the truth and clear...
And after I made the video about Tectone, which I still hold true to this day, had absolutely nothing against my brother in it. There was nothing inherently against my brother wrong in that video.
You wanna die on that hill, bitch?
The narrative being spun around that I threw him under the bus for YouTube clout just isn't true. I might have made this joke before, but you can't throw somebody under a bus if they've already walked straight in front of it.
And after I made the video about Tectone, which I still hold true to this day, had absolutely nothing against my brother in it. There was nothing inherently against my brother wrong in that video.
That I already had interest in the game. The only reason I didn't play it was because I wanted to hear somebody who wasn't my brother recommend it. Because for those who don't know, my brother's opinions on the game are pretty much universally negative and aren't very good to go off of.
And after I made the video about Tectone, which I still hold true to this day, had absolutely nothing against my brother in it. There was nothing inherently against my brother wrong in that video.
I see my brother walking around pushing the narrative that he won. He definitely didn't. I don't know where he gets this idea, but in his small little brain, I guess anything is a victory to him.
And after I made the video about Tectone, which I still hold true to this day, had absolutely nothing against my brother in it. There was nothing inherently against my brother wrong in that video.
That being said, the one time I genuinely got angry was when my brother tried to stop me from going on stream with Tectone, because in his mind, he never ever wanted to help me grow my channel, and when I was presented with an opportunity that could potentially do that, it was only in that moment that he wanted to help me.
And after I made the video about Tectone, which I still hold true to this day, had absolutely nothing against my brother in it. There was nothing inherently against my brother wrong in that video.
The only reason I'm releasing this video now is because my brother made a video that was a reaction to Tectone's reaction on his video, and in that video, towards the end, Soul spoke for me about my relationship with Tectone.
And after I made the video about Tectone, which I still hold true to this day, had absolutely nothing against my brother in it. There was nothing inherently against my brother wrong in that video.
In other words, because he doesn't like the person I now have a connection with, he's trying to burn down my bridge because he already burned down his own, simply because he does not like Tectone.
And after I made the video about Tectone, which I still hold true to this day, had absolutely nothing against my brother in it. There was nothing inherently against my brother wrong in that video.
So now this brings us to the most recent event in this story. XgoSolo's appearance on Tectone's GotchaCast. Solo wasn't originally set to appear on GotchaCast episode 6. However, after Solo responded to the Twitter announcement with "didn't invite me to the podcast bruh" skull emoji. Now, you might argue that this is just Solo making a joke, but at this point I honestly believe he genuinely does just want the attention, and he genuinely did want to end up on that podcast. And surprisingly, Tectone actually let him on last minute. Solo at last had an opportunity to rub shoulders with other prominent creators in the Gotcha community besides Tectone, such as GotchaSmack, MTash, and Pokey. And this also was the first time he seemed to have done anything with Tectone since the initial drama. So, how did the podcast go?
Fuck you, Paul. The other version here is just balance. It's all skill. You go in here, you're gonna get fucking destroyed. It's going to happen. But, you know, if you come over here, if you spend more money, these children won't stand a chance. It was that kind of situation. But then the problem becomes you have a divide in the players, so then you have to.
Why is it an issue losing to people who spent more money if you can have fun in the game mode?
I agree. I 100% agree.
I'd say the issue isn't necessarily losing to people with more money. It's being fucking destroyed by people with more money. Because like it's one thing. It's like, oh, well, this guy spent thousands of dollars, but you know, me with my peasant cash in my fucking food stamps, at least I was able to take out one of them.
So go ahead,
I see somebody raising their hand. But then, like, the other guy...
One second,
like, the other guy is just like, oh, okay, well, I'm dead.
Like,
there's no fun dying.
Hold up. Yeah, Tess, what are you trying to say?
The other, you know, I just thought of this, too, is, like, they had that kind of Pokemon event. What was
I missed out before the tutorial starts. Like, just nihility. It feels so weird. I feel like it'd just be better if they just, like, split it off. Like, okay, these are debuffers, and these are dots. Because, like, dots is a whole playstyle in of itself, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I can understand that. Okay, so like designated debuffer, I think that's cool.
Japanese.
Yeah, that's cool.
I want to see something about Sampo and Sparkle, the followers of Aha, revealing more of their plots and shit. Like they have these little things that they can capitalize on, but like,
you guys know that you could actually guarantee getting both Runway blessings every single time, like every single time.
Oh, please share with the class, man.
Yeah. Okay, so TLDR.
Yeah.
So TLDR, this was discovered in like the CN.
Already invested in so many things with Time Avenues that investing in that game is a big if after all of the bad.
Chat's allowed to say whatever they want. Okay, if chat wants to say somebody's yapping, they can say whatever the fuck they want.
There's already so much invested in. Like,
yeah,
I think chat's being funny as fuck. They can have their opinion whatever they want.
Is
just
this
relax.
actually worth it, or Wilds is right around?
Yeah, it did not go well for Solo.
Peace, boys. All right, gentlemen, go follow everybody who was there. That was great. What'd y'all think? I thought that was great. The great yappening of 2024 was so funny to me. That shit was so funny. Dude, chat was killing me the whole time, bro. That shit was so funny. That shit, dude, chat killed me the whole time. Let me know what y'all think. Any thoughts? How would you, WL, what do y'all think? I know you made a business decision there, but it genuinely ruined the podcast for me personally. What did? What did? What did? What? What? What happened?
Yes, Solo did in fact have the spotlight for much of that podcast, but not in the way he wanted. Despite the fact that Solo was a last-minute addition to the podcast, and despite the fact that chat was mostly there for the bigger creators, Solo was the one who probably talked the most during the entire podcast and failed to understand when to give other people a turn to talk, even talking over others at some points. As such, Tectone's chat, as well as the chats of other creators who were on the podcast, ridiculed Solo primarily by using the word yap repeatedly. You could also tell that the other creators were unfortunately annoyed with him as well. GotchaSmack read the term Japanese out loud from his chat, and MTAT in his own Twitch chat expressed annoyance with Solo, saying that he wanted to leave. You could also just tell it by his face, honestly. Solo didn't take any of this all too well, as you could probably imagine. In fact, after the events of the podcast, he announced that he was taking a break from content creation. Though before he did, he uploaded one last video to his secondary channel.
But in this scenario, what bothers me more was effectively that podcast was my worst fears realized. When I was younger, as we all very clearly can tell now, I am autistic as fuck, I have ADHD, and for pretty much my entire life, any room I've been in, I've been the weird kid. And one of my biggest fears is being the weirdest person in the room while being none the wiser, because nobody wants to point that out to me. It was a fear that I didn't have until the shoe was on the other foot and there was finally somebody who was weirder than me. And it was in that point I kind of realized that's what I am to most people. And yesterday that happened, but it wasn't in an isolated classroom of 20 people. It was in front of roughly 5,000 and hyper-local, televised for everybody to see. And
if that was one of your biggest fears realized, and you do understand that in some scenarios you are the weird kid, then why did you agree to go on a podcast with many larger creators than you that you don't really know on a personal level? Something you will notice about Solo by this point in the video is that he is quite terrible with decision making.
I saw a lot of people saying this guy needs to learn how to read a room and autism isn't an excuse, and you know what, I agree with that. I hate the idea of people who brush off all of their problems because they're mentally disabled.
An odd thing for you to say, considering that in your final thoughts on the Tectone drama video you use your autism as a way to deflect criticism that Tectone was using you, but okay.
Additionally, you have to take in mind setting. I am wearing a fucking bird mask for God's sake and not looking at a 9x9 grid that's shown in the video.
Then just don't wear the bird mask. I know Tectone asked you to wear the bird mask on stream, but you could have taken it off at any point in time. I mean, hell, the guy next to your rogue was basically a PFP the entire time.
You know what, because that doesn't matter. Understanding body language was just a symptom of another cause, meaning that me talking over people, and you know, whatever is what it is. I can admit fault when I'm wrong.
Oh, you can admit fault that you're wrong, so you're gonna admit that you lied about your brother in that final thoughts on the Tectone drama video? Oh, wait.
Let me ask something. Is the crime of talking over somebody worth having a swarm of harassment send your way? And people fucking mocking you for it in the comments. People telling you that you're annoying and should shut the fuck up. People telling you to never associate with these people ever again. People saying that you ruined the episode. People saying that they don't want you around anymore. Is it really worth all of that? Is it really worth me figuring out what Twitch whispers were from people sending me fucking death threats and telling me I'm annoying and to shut the fuck up? Was it really worth all that? Was the crime of talking out of turn worth being swarmed with this bullshit?
Yeah, that all sucks, but welcome to the internet, my guy. If you really want to have as many viewers as people like Tectone one day, then you're gonna have to deal with this shit on a regular basis. I don't know what else to tell you. This isn't me justifying death threats or saying that all criticism that one receives is valid, but you really have to have thick skin if you're gonna be an entertainer.
Like, and not even just the people in the comments, making a fucking fool of myself in front of people who I respected, and coming to find that some of these people were shit-talking me, like, as it was happening, and didn't say in person. That one especially sucked. I'm so fucking ashamed of that person. I used to look up to that person, and I figured that out. That fucking sucked. I can't even think of anything else aside from that sucked to describe it. I'm okay. But you know, that's enough about the yapping. It could have been a joke, right? Suspension of disbelief. Look.
Yes, it was a joke. You were talking a lot. You chose to talk a lot during the podcast. You didn't shut the fuck up. You were annoying other people. It's not like those content creators were saying that you should die or saying that your house should get burned down. They were just flabbergasted as to why Tectone brought some random guy with a bird mask on stream and he kept talking the whole time. Just use this as an opportunity to grow and do better the next time you appear on the Gotcha Cast.
The idea that I am Tectone's little business decision, some fucking investment he keeps around because guess what? He doesn't actually give a shit about me. Yeah, that bothers me because quite frankly, I kind of believe it. Because every goddamn day I get reminded that I was used for views to farm drama, whatever. And you know what? Who gives a fuck if that actually is what happened? Because guess what? I actually got somewhere because of that. That motherfucker did more for me in a week than I was able to do for myself in 3 years of trying to learn this YouTube shit, alright? So yeah, who gives a fuck if he used me for it? Because guess what? I actually got something out of it. For once in my life, I didn't have to fucking worry if my next video would do well. I had the sensibility and security of understanding that didn't matter anymore. And even if that was the case, I still have so much fucking respect for that man because of that.
I really just don't even know what to say. That just sounds really sad and pathetic. You don't care if someone you respect use you for views or not, so long as you got something for it in the end, and that's why you respect them? God, like, it just sounds incredibly easy to win you over.
The fact that I was so close to the verge, I was about to give it up for good, not because I was canceled, but because I was defeated. And he saved my ass from that. Yeah, I have respect for that man. And doesn't matter what his intentions were because he actually, I got something out of that. Not views, not something as fucking intangible as YouTube views or ad revenue, but something that I never had before. Peace of mind.
Peace of mind that you were going to have stable views, yes.
And I don't know if I'm just trying to validate what the masses are telling me, but something tells me Tectone only tolerates me, which is why the business decision comment fucks with me as much as it does. I don't even want to think about the shit he probably says about me behind the scenes. He probably laughs it up with his buddies, I'm always told, and I don't want to believe it. But at the same time, you know, fake it till you fucking make it, I guess.
So, let me get this straight. After everything that you went through solo, after everything you sacrificed, after throwing your brother under the bus and lying about him in front of thousands of people in regards to his character, after making that video snowballed into an incident where Tectone says that your brother abuses you, falsely might I add, after you refused to stand up to Tectone and to fully support your brother at the time, after you said that you had nothing but respect for the man even though he basically tried to bully your brother off the internet, after you played a game I'm still not even really convinced you actually like for months and months on end, after all of that, you are willing to burn the bridge that you worked so hard to build and maintain by doing things that you should not be proud of whatsoever, might I add. All because your ego got hurt by one embarrassing appearance on a podcast. A podcast which, by the way, you were not originally invited to, yet desperately asked to be on anyway. God, this is just one of the worst investments I think I've ever seen in my life.
Be very clear on this. I am a fucking adult. I solve my problems like an adult. If I take issue with somebody, I don't go out and make a fucking video about it. I go into their goddamn DMs and I talk to them as an adult.
But that's what you're doing right now, though. Instead of attempting to contact him in private, you are going public that you think that he is making fun of you. Do you really think Tectone is going to be okay with this? Tectone is very openly petty about things. He very much holds a grudge about even anything slightly negative said about him.
I need it to be on record that I'm very aware that I was being an asshole in that stream, and I'm by no means deflecting that. I fully agree that I need to work on my social skills, especially because I am a communications and film major, and I'm definitely not going to make it in an industry where communication's key if I have such shitty social understandings. I fully agree with that.
So if you acknowledge all of these as valid criticisms, again, why not just keep these in mind when you do something like this the next time? By making this video, taking all of what's been said about you to heart, and directly calling out some of the people you were on the podcast with, there's likely not going to be a next time for you to actually work on these issues with. Well, that's basically the end of the story, at least up until the present. So, what can we conclude? XgoSolo is a fantastic case study for what happens when desires of YouTube fame become too strong. He dismissed the people close to him and around him who were trying to help him work towards this goal, in favor of shilling himself to someone who was very clearly trying to use him at the time, all because said person was able to give him a temporary boost in viewers that he had never seen before. A boost so temporary that it seemingly fizzled out immediately after the initial drama with his brother. While I don't doubt that the emotions Solo displays, such as in the recent events video, are real, it's honestly incredibly difficult to feel bad for him. Knowing the terrible decisions he's made, knowing the lies he's told, seeing how much he was basically meat-riding Tectone throughout the entirety of this video, and even after Tectone had let jokes happen at his own expense and even laughed at them at the end of the podcast, Solo made his bed, and now he has to lie in it. Leave a like or dislike depending on what you thought of the video, share your thoughts in the comments down below, subscribe if you really want to, I guess I'll see if I end up making more content on this channel, and have a good day or night.